I'm Carolyn Yale. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Iran between 1974 and 1975. I was stationed in the city of Shiraz in southern Iran. What I remember very vividly is traveling in the rural areas of the Ostan, like a state in which I was living in villages, taking pictures and being followed by very curious groups of children who wanted their pictures taken and they wanted to know all about us.
My name is Bob Horsberg. I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer from Iran, and I was stationed in Iran between 1969 and 72. I was in Sanandaj and Tabriz, and then a little bit in Tehran at the end of my tour. As part of my job, I traveled to many towns to help them do planning, and so I remember riding an interminable number of buses all over Iran. Saw the whole country. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I'm Dave Martin. I served in Iran from 1967 to 1969.
And station?
In Torbeti-Hay-Darye, south of Mashhad, okay. Eastern Iran. We had one trip. We were on a bus heading across between the two big deserts, and the road was stone, but it was very narrow, only room for one vehicle at a time. But occasionally there were pullouts, and there was a lorry from Zabul where they had reed mats, and the truck was 3 times as wide as normally and 2 times as high. And we came nose to nose, and so there was negotiations, and everybody agreed that the bus should pull off except the bus driver. So the bus pulled off, and the driver promptly put it in low gear and gunned it and buried us down to the axle. And Frank Locke from Texas said, well, the bus driver said he couldn't do it, and by God he didn't. And 20 minutes later, we dug out the bus and we were on our way. But in Iran, they have the gendarme would stop traffic along the road. You know, at their station, people would stop and they would go in and primarily looking for contraband. And well, there's two stories. Another one is that whenever you take a ride in Iran, you would always pay the driver no matter what. The same price, whether it's a bus or a taxi or a private. So all the drivers are encouraged to pick up people because it's easy to get a ride. So my friend, Peace Corps volunteer, was on a ride with this lorry, this truck, and it was carrying tea into Iran, which was illegal. And the inspector and the truck driver got his can of tea for his bakshish to give to the guard, and he says, yeah, well, that's okay. And he was negotiating with the Peace Corps volunteer. He says, well, you owe me 4 tomans for the ride. And the guard became incensed and telling us that it was illegal for smugglers to charge for rides.
My name is Mary Marks. I was stationed in Iran in a place called Kerman from 1964 to 1966. Well, when I was in Kerman, we were quarantined for cholera. And after that quarantine was over, my roommate, who was 66 years old, very old at that time, came down with diarrhea and nausea. The entire health department ended up in our apartment treating my roommate just in case she had cholera. It was really pretty amazing. No, but I could tell you that I'm writing a memoir about my time in Iran. It's going to be called Walled In, Walled Out. I'm almost finished. I can't wait to get it over with, and I'm hoping I can get it out there to the world some way or another.
My name is Dorothy McCulloch. I served in Iran from 64 to 66. I was stationed in Isfahan, and I taught English at the Faculty of Letters of the University of Isfahan. One of the most interesting trips I took in Iran happened during the first Nowruz that I was there. That's the Iranian New Year. I had gone with friends to visit in Khuzestan, in Ahwaz and Molasani, but I needed to come home to Esfahan, and so I took a bus trip that took all night long. No sooner had we left Ahwaz than we went through a sandstorm. We rode all night long. We stopped, I recall, in Sanandaj for tea. It was close to midnight. And in the wee hours of the morning, we drove through a snowstorm. And finally, I arrived back in daylight at Esfahan. But I never had gone through sandstorm and snowstorm on the same trip.
Hi, this is Dave Pritchard. I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer from Iran. I was there in the time frame of 1967 to 1969 with an engineering and architecture group. I was assigned to Tabriz, Iran. It's in the northwest part of the country in the Azerbaijan province, kind of like a Denver type of climate. And our work was mostly designing small architecture and engineering projects. At this conference, I just happened to see a photograph that a young Iranian woman who's a student at UMass Amherst had of the town we lived in, Iran, overlooking a large park with a pond. And in the middle of the park is a structure that I and my architectural compadre there in Tabriz designed and oversaw the building of in 1968, so we're glad to see it still there and functioning and being enjoyed by the folks in Tabriz.